Now listen, if you're the kind of person who thinks adding Coke to a 15-year-old single malt is acceptable, you might just be the reason this podcast exists. Welcome to the Non-Chill Filtered Podcast, where we unpack whiskey like it's emotional baggage.
And welcome back to another episode of Non-Chill Filtered, where we talk to the movers, the shakers, the people that make the industry great, essentially. And today we are blessed with the absolute legend, the wonderful woman that looks after Maker's Mark in New South Wales. And some would say it is the best Maker's Mark ambassador we've ever had.
Stop.
Rhi, how are you today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
We pretend like we haven't chatted for the last 45 minutes.
Definitely not our first whiskey of the day.
No. It's the second, actually. Oh, absolutely delicious. We've got a lineup of Maker's Mark sitting on the table. I was like, let us dive into all those stocks that I've just got sitting there because, as you know, I've got way too much whiskey. So I'm like, okay, let's...
It's great to see. There's some private selects here that I've not even tried before. So I'm very excited for this little lineup.
I'm glad. Well, yeah, please help yourself. But so the people can learn a little bit more about you, did you want to give us your comic book 01 origin story? Pretty much take the people how you got to, I'd say, drinking whiskey and then found yourself in the industry itself.
Yeah. I definitely found myself drinking whiskey because of my dad. My dad was a big fan of whiskey, still is, although he's really stuck on like Johnny Red, but we are developing his experience with whiskey as we go. But yeah, he was always a whiskey lover, so that was kind of how we used to connect in my late teens. We'd, sit and have a whiskey together, which was really nice. And then like many BAs do, I started a career in hospitality while I was at uni. Loved hospo, didn't love uni that much. Moved up fairly quickly through the hospitality industry. Was a venue manager licensee by the time I was 19. And then started my sort of professional brand side career. I think it was the week I turned 21, I started working at Lion.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was very cool. I was over in the US, I got the call, I said, yep, you're on, had a job in sales. So yeah, I was looking after sort of the eastern suburbs through into the inner west of Sydney, looking after the full Lion craft beer portfolio, which was great.
Very exciting stuff, craft beer. There's a lot of craft beer fans somewhere, not anywhere near this podcast. But what craft beer was Lion looking after at that point?
So the biggest brands I was working on at the start, mainly like Little Creatures, Panhead, Brooklyn. We later acquired Stone & Wood, which became a big focus for us. We had the White Rabbit Brewery, Yamundi up in Queensland, Kosciuszko, and then Voodoo Ranger as well, the new Belgian brewery, they came on board as well. So quite a varied portfolio of craft beer, and I just fell in love with everything about the real nerdy side of beer production. You may have picked this up from me in the past, that I do get a little bit nerdy. I like the details. So yeah, I just fell in love with learning about it. Did my certified Cicerone. I read as much as I can and study as much as I can because I just find it so fascinating. I think beer and obviously whiskey as well, which is where I'm at now, is like this beautiful intersection of storytelling and passion and romance, but also science. And I kind of love sitting in the middle of those two extremes. So yeah, I started in the sales team, took a stint in the brand team as an assistant brand manager on some of those same beer brands, but really wanted an ambassador role. Kind of weaseled my way into the ambassador team at Lion. And yeah, became one of their national craft beer ambassadors. So yeah, traveling around Australia, doing beer education sessions. But I've always had this innate love for Maker's Mark, which goes back to the very first bar that I ever worked at in Cronulla. I had these two really amazing managers, and both of them really loved Maker's Mark. So on my 18th birthday, my first cocktail was a Maker's 46 Old Fashioned.
It was great. Like, I'm glad you didn't use 80 proof for that, because
Yeah.
that would have been horrific.
Exactly. But, you know, stepping up into that 46, that was how I learned to upsell at the bar. It was Maker's Mark, you know, trading people up into 46. And I had just heard about these stories and the dipping of the wax, and I just really loved it. So I was drinking Maker's Mark, from kind of day one. And then, found my way over to the Maker's Mark team here in Australia. So, look after all of Australia and New Zealand from an ambassador perspective, which is just the best job ever.
There is no better person to run the, I'd say, ambassador program for Australia and Maker's Mark, because the fact that you're like, all right, that's so passionate about the brand, and I guess being able to really enjoy the whiskey as well, because you see these people that sneak into these roles and they're just like, we just want to sell whiskey. Like, you don't care about the product, but you know, you're diving into the nerdy side. You really want to learn about like yeasts and like different mash bills, even though Maker's Mark sticks with the same mash bill. It's like
Up until now,
which is like a really cool segue into the Star Hill. Did you want to crack it?
Yeah, why not?
I got a bottle here. I'm like, it's not going to drink itself.
If we're going to talk about the whiskey, we got to drink said whiskey.
Absolutely. Do you need a new glass? You good?
I think I'm okay with this one. I can finish that.
That's if you can get it open.
Oh my god, it's a struggle.
Yes.
I thought the wax was bad, but
now it's like plastic toppers. Give me two, or teeth. That's fine. I'm
getting absolutely nowhere with this.
Okay, give me two.
Hold on.
I
Yeah,
nailed
it.
There we go. All right. Oh, you say that until we're like, try and keep it.
There we go. All right, we got there.
Okay, that was.
Yeah, Star Hill Farm, first new mash bill from Maker's Mark. Very exciting.
It's absolutely sick because, like, that pop.
Great sound.
Oh, I know. Thank you. I need a new glass.
You do.
I don't drink whiskey fast. That's 500 and something dollars.
I sometimes do.
It's fine. It's fine. I love it. Okay, so anyway, don't mind pouring for me. Thank you. Walk me through it. What is Star Hill Farm?
Yeah, so Star Hill Farm is a super unique whiskey that we've just launched out of the Maker's Mark Distillery. It is a series of firsts for us. So like you mentioned, first new mash bill. Every bottle of Maker's Mark that is dipped in the red wax is all the same mash bill or the same production process up until full maturity at cask strength. And then we play around with either wood finishing with our stave program, changing the proof, or aging it for longer in our cellar. But Star Hill is, completely different whiskey. It's not a bourbon. It is a wheat whiskey, which is really fun. But we wanted to explore the true influence that nature and terroir and seasonality have over whiskey. And I think terroir is an interesting conversation in whiskey because there's been many debates and a lot of studies around the fact that, you know, after you get through the full process and you grab your whiskey out of a barrel, how much influence from terroir are you actually going to see at the end of that? Because there's a lot of inputs in terms of how flavour is developed, and so trying to understand if that individual grain is actually having an influence was quite difficult. We really wanted to explore it with wheat. Obviously, soft red winter wheat is massively important to our flavour profile and our flavour vision that Bill Senior and Margie Samuels had all the way back in the 50s.
16% of the mash bill.
That's it. You're onto it. It's almost like we've spoken before.
Yes, absolutely. On a typical mash bill, not this one, but this is 100%. But
yeah, so that soft red winter wheat, massively important to our flavour vision, and we wanted to really explore the influence of that wheat over the whiskey, and particularly we wanted to bring it back to how that grain is harvested, how it's grown, and the soil that it's coming from. Over the last probably 60 years of conventional farming practices, a lot of the topsoil that we grow all of our crops on has been pretty decimated, and we kind of wanted to have a look at if we treated the land better, utilising regenerative agricultural practices, are we then going to be able to taste that influence in the whiskey? And the answer is yes. Regenerative ag is something we're super focused on as one of the most sustainable distilleries in the world, and really revitalising soil life and biodiversity. And so this whiskey sort of set us on our journey of regenerative ag, which massive benefits for the environment, for your health, but also makes really tasty whiskey, which is what we're all about here.
Oh, absolutely. We're with nothing but banging bottles on the table today, so we're very blessed. But in them diving into, say, 100% malted wheat.
It is not 100% malted wheat. So, great segue.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We're changing things up.
I like it.
So this particular release, and it will change every single year. So the 2025 release is a combination of two mash bills.
That's right. It was a blend.
Yeah. So we've got 100% malted soft red winter wheat, and the other is 70% unmalted soft red winter wheat, 30% malted barley. Okay. So, really interesting. It comes out to 51% of the red winter wheat, 27% malted red winter wheat, and 22% malted barley in that final mash bill that we have there. So, definitely no corn. It's bottled at cask strength, and the whiskey is 7 or 8 years old.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So the fact they've just had this kicking away in the warehouse for 7 years just under wraps.
Yeah.
And you're just wonder what they're doing.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's more experimentation in the works. They
So
start
much.
trying new things. They've got 1,001 different stave combinations, in their core lines, say.
Yeah.
For their private selects. Do you think we'd see a variation with barrel types?
Great question. Yes. So not that we, I guess, have spoken too much about this in, I guess, the chat about Star Hill Farm as we've been launching it, but if we're going to get nerdy, this is the place for it. This whiskey is actually utilising 5 different barrel types already.
Oh, okay, because there's no mention of that.
Not really, yeah.
Blessed to have Rob Simons come out and talk about this whiskey and just being able to sit there and listen to him, but the conversation didn't come up about barrel types. Everyone thought it was Mid-Chard American Oak.
Yeah, and
classic.
that's the thing, because the regular Maker's Mark barrels are Char Level 3 American White Oak, all made by Independent Stave Company, but we experimented a little bit with this, and it kind of falls back into this, I guess, work that we're doing around the influence of nature and agriculture over the final product, and obviously our wood is also an agricultural product. So we've got 5 different types of barrels in there. The first one is just our regular standard Char Level 3, which is kind of like our control barrel, and then 4 experimental. So we've got 1 full French oak, 1 American White Oak with French oak heads, 1 that is our wave stave barrel, which is similar to, if you've ever seen the seared French cuvee stave that's available for private select. It's cut with a groove, so the full barrel is cut with that groove. And then the last one is a toasted barrel, so toasted to Independent Stave Company's profile number 54.
Okay.
So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's essentially, you'd look at it the same way you'd look at a private select, right? And it's just this is a giant vat of whiskey that has had different, I'd say, barrels blended into it, treated in the same way as the product.
They've got hundreds of streams of whiskey that were potentially able to be blended into this final product. The work that our innovation team does, and Beth, Ryan and Blake, is just out of this world. I had a good chat with them the other day actually about sort of how they get their heads around this process, because you think, private select is crazy in terms of the 1,001 different types of whiskey that you might be able to get out of that, but then you look at what they're doing in Star Hill, we've got different mash bills, different types of barrels, different ages, also different wheat strains that we're using and testing and playing with. We play with a few heirloom varieties, some modern varieties as well, because we're actually growing all of the wheat for Star Hill Farm on our estate.
which is a massive property.
Huge, and constantly buying up more land. So our estate at Star Hill Farm, which is the location of the Maker's Mark Distillery, is the first in the world to achieve Tier 3 Regenerative certification. So all our land there is, certified by a third party as regenerative. And then we've also worked with all the farmers that we work with that provide the rest of our grain, and particularly the corn, within a 60-mile radius of the distillery, and certified them all as well, so that we know that all of the grain coming for any Maker's Mark product now is actually certified Regenerative from 2023. But this particular bottle is using only wheat that we're growing on site. It's actually why this is now the first ever estate certified whiskey, which basically is trying to bring some more transparency to whiskey production, as we know that's not always very forthcoming. No comment.
No. Well, look, like, there's a reason why it was like, they enacted the Bottling Bond Act, right?
Exactly.
Because, like, at whiskey at that point, it was whatever you wanted it to be. So the fact that we're still having that conversation now,
I know,
is mind-blowing.
Crazy.
Because, like, obviously the regulations, even with, like, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey.
Yeah.
And it's, like, labelling and the TTB.
Oh, my God. So many confusing, contradictory laws in there.
Yeah.
What's the bloke who's, like, dedicated his entire life to just sifting through the whiskey law documents?
Oh, is it? No, because
Coming Whiskey, he does the labels so that he knows what's
labels.
happening. No, there's another bloke, I always forget his name, but he's like dedicated his life to like trying to point out all of the discrepancies and inconsistencies in whiskey law.
Maybe I haven't seen it.
It's wild. I'll find it.
Yeah, I will nerd out on that. That is sick.
'Cause you just look at it and you're like, oh, I can't even get into this. Like my brain can't handle. But
I haven't had enough whiskey for.
Oh man.
Insane.
But bringing like the estate certification label is going to allow us to bring one step more into that, I guess, transparency and conversation. So we were the first whiskey to get it with Star Hill Farm. I think there's maybe 6 distilleries in Kentucky now that are able to also use that label. There's only really 2 things that you have to cover, in that you either grow all of the grain for the whiskey yourself, or they're with controlled farms within 30 miles of your distillery. And controlled meaning like you have full visibility over their like production process, how they're growing, are they regenerative certified. 2/3 of the grain has to be at that level, and then everything else in terms of production from milling up to bottling has to be on site too. So we're well over that 2/3, because the only thing that we can't certify Regenerative yet is the malted barley, because you don't buy from the farm, you buy from the maltster, and there's a lot more intricacies that go into understanding where that grain comes from, and it doesn't grow in Kentucky.
Right.
Not very well.
Yeah. So I guess there's not because if it's not growing in Kentucky, like obviously it's like 30 miles, you can't really govern that. So would they work on like a malted barley product?
We are.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've partnered with the University of Kentucky as well as some of the, best grain growers in the industry to try and find a strain of barley that will adapt and grow to the Kentucky climate. It's been a bit of a process,
but
imagine.
If someone had figured it out, they'd be growing it.
But like this, I think it just shows the dedication that Maker's Mark has to truly being sustainable, being a force for good, and making sure that we're doing things in such a way that, we're giving always more back to the land than what we take from it, so we can keep distilling for generations. I think, the fact that they've got a project trying to figure out which strain of barley might potentially grow well in the climate is a pretty good testament to that.
Mind-blowing that, like, you've tasked a university to go, all right, you focus on what kind of grain would grow well in Kentucky. I know Rob touched on it when he was here, but how much longer could farms continue to, I guess, grow grains on the soil they currently have without using this regenerative farming practices? Because, like, you will see, I guess, a change the same way you would see, what are we talking? Like, heirloom grains no longer grow because they constantly get changed over time through fertilizer and through, I guess, like, different cycles. and cross-pollination, all the fun stuff I know nothing about.
I know heaps about it.
Yeah, no, that's all right. We got time, so much time. But yeah, like how much longer could these farms be sustainable before you're receiving receiving no more nutrients from said grains?
Yeah, not long. So the US has only got 60 years of topsoil left. So yeah, traditional farming practices absolutely ruin the soil. It is so eroded and dead and lifeless now that, yeah, there's only 60 years left, which is 60 harvests. And we're not just talking whiskey. We are talking all food that grows in the ground, which is pretty concerning. So trying to bring back these regenerative principles, which it sounds new, it's not really. Like, this is the way that, First Nations people have been looking after the land for centuries. And then in the last 50 to 60 years, we came through and just burned it all down. So we're trying to bring back those principles. And so principles of regenerative farming, it's quite simple. No herbicides, no pesticides, no tillage, so cutting into the land, because obviously that is going to promote lots of erosion. Rotational grazing, so using livestock to move through parts of the land that you're growing on. They actually kind of squash down the dirt with their hooves, which helps with the erosion as well, but they're also fertilizing the land as they go. Cover cropping, so cover cropping is planting really nitrogen-rich crops, often legumes, that you don't actually harvest. You cut them down and then let them seep all that nitrogen back into the soil.
Okay.
Really important, because monoculture agriculture, where you're just planting just acres and acres and acres of the same type of product that you're harvesting a couple times a year, you're only ever taking from the land. You're never giving anything back. And the interesting thing about all this is, when you kind of look at it on the surface, I think a lot of people, we live in a world where obviously economics is massively important to all of these farms. They're looking at it going, well, how can I utilize the space that I have on my farm to grow a crop that I don't then get to sell and make any money out of? But if you do look at it a little bit deeper, all of this stuff actually ensures that you're getting much better yields every time you do crop, because there is more nitrogen in the soil, there's more activity happening, there's more biodiversity. As these root systems are allowed to grow down into the soil, they have this symbiotic relationship with the fungi, which is what brings in the nutrients. Now, these nutrients, obviously, important for the growth of that produce, whatever it might be, grain, important for human health, but also those proteins carry the flavor molecules that we need for precursors for all the flavor. So if we're farming in this way, we actually get better tasting products as well. So it kind of sounds a little bit complicated, but when you get down to it, it's just looking after the land, promoting biodiversity, promoting soil health. And yeah, it will have a massive impact on the environment, because yeah, if we don't start making these changes, we're kind of screwed. Which is why Star Hill Farm actually is one of the first ever purpose-led brands in this way. So we're part of the Regenerative Alliance. So Maker's Mark is committed to transforming 1 million acres of farmland into certified regenerified farmland, which is actually part of a bigger project that is aiming for 100 million acres. So all the proceeds from Star Hill Farm is going towards that initiative, which is super exciting.
It's a great initiative to kind of get behind, because, as you said, there's not a lot of time left. Mm-mm. Do we know where this kind of came from? Because to stumble upon this and just decide, no, there's only 60 years left. I assume it's part of the research the team were doing. And
yeah, it was. I mean, over the last probably 12 years, we've massively transformed our campus at Maker's Mark Distillery at Star Hill Farm. And we started, we are B Corp certified, and so we've been on this journey of sustainability for a while, and we're always pushing ourselves to kind of ask the next question and do the next thing. And so when we started looking at our farmland, we realized that there's a problem. And then we worked really closely with this guy called Gabe Brown. Gabe Brown is a leading sort of thought driver on regenerative agriculture. And he, really helped us to understand more about this, I guess, whole concept of regenerative agriculture, and was able to, then help us to transform our land, and now a lot of other people. He's got a company called Understanding Ag, and so he does like talks and workshops all around the world. And we kind of were able to connect with him because he has a series of documentaries. The first one's called Kiss the Ground, second one Common Ground, and the third one is in production right now. The film crew were actually in Australia earlier this year doing some filming, which I did get to meet them and do a little event with them, which was really cool.
Are you on film?
No, but that would be cool.
No. Very disappointing.
No. And that third one I think is called Groundswell, and they're honestly such eye-opening documentaries. They were suggested to me on my very first trip to the distillery, which was on my second day on the job. It was like, hi, welcome, here's your phone and your laptop. Anyway, off you go to Kentucky. So I spent 2 weeks there doing my like full brand immersion, which was just the best. And I'm getting these suggestions from Rob Samuels about things that he would suggest I study or watch or read as someone who's starting out to make his mark. And I'm expecting him to give me like whiskey books and, like that kind of stuff. I got a documentary about farming and a book about having an infinite mindset in business. I was like, this is not what I expected at all. And a book about regenerative practices as well from chef Dan Barber, who's one of the world's, leading sustainable chefs. So it was quite a varied suggestion from Rob. And I remember being there being like, this is so not what I was expecting. And then I watched the documentary Kiss the Ground on a flight somewhere, and then immediately watched it again. And then I was driving somewhere for like an hour and a half, and so I put on the audio of the documentary and listened to it on my drive. It is so inspiring, so interesting. I'm obsessed with this like regenerative agriculture stuff, which is not what I thought I was getting myself into as a whiskey BA, but here we are.
as I pull out my phone, I remember Rob say something. Is it on Prime? I feel like it's on.
Yeah, it is now. Yeah.
I was, let me have a look. I'm going to jump on Just Watch because his name is Gabe Brown. Let me see where I can point people to watch this, because if it has changed your life, I was like, yeah, Rob, I'll watch it. I completely forgot. This classic me. Gabe Brown. Let's see what we can find here. So, what was the... I can't actually see it. Common Ground. Yeah, Amazon Prime 2023.
Perfect.
There we go.
Amazon Prime, everybody.
Oh, in 4K. Oh, stop it. That is exactly... That'll make my eyes feel better.
Yeah.
All right, so like
awesome.
The third time listening to it, what had your mindset changed to about regenerative farming?
Oh man, I drank that Kool-Aid like you wouldn't believe. Like I listened to this documentary and was like, I need to change my entire life. Like
the Liver King, that's...
Listening to them speak about... Obviously, that stat around we've got 60 years of topsoil left before we can't grow anything was pretty like hits you in the face a little bit. You're like, wow, that's quite serious. Like, why aren't we speaking about that more? And then, they go into so much detail, even around like herbicides and pesticides, how obviously bad they are for human health. But like they were developed as war chemicals. Like then, like, I'm sorry. They were developed as war chemicals, and then after the war ended, then they like rejigged them a bit, and now we spray them over everything we eat. Like, come on.
That doesn't make any sense.
No. Rob always says it. It's the only people who benefit from conventional agriculture are the chemical companies.
Yeah, of course.
So they dive quite deeply into that whole side of things, which is really upsetting.
But it makes sense for them as a company, right? Like they're going to go, oh, no, it's good for your plants. Like it'll keep the bugs off it just so they can sell more pesticides.
100%.
Like the same way, like different brands will sponsor different things. They'll go, oh, well, smoking is good for your health.
Yeah.
Because it's sponsored by the Marlboro man.
Yeah. It's 100% what happened. And unfortunately, it's this cycle where the more you use the herbicides and pesticides and you're monoculturing and not encouraging biodiversity, the more you actually need them. So I actually learnt this in Dan's book, which is called The Third Plate, also an amazing read. He was working with this farmer, and this guy never had any problem with pests and he never used any chemical inputs at all. But because he had such a diverse way of putting together his farmland, that he would plant particular types of plants that would attract certain pests away from what he was growing. But he always said, like, if you've got healthy soil and everything's working in harmony, the pests don't come. The pests attack what's weak. So as you're weakening basically the root systems and everything you're working with by using herbicides and pesticides, you're encouraging more need for them, because the root systems are dying, so you don't get as much yield, so you need the herbicides to help them grow. And then everything's not that healthy because the root systems are not healthy enough in poor soil, so then you need the pesticides to keep the pests away because they're coming in to attack what's weak. So it's just this like awful cycle.
Oh my God.
It's so bad. And then like learning where these chemicals came from is just insane. So yeah, it kind of like really opened my eyes quite a lot. And like I'm someone who is, clearly very passionate about everything Maker's Mark does, and the sustainability side of Maker's Mark's ethos is something that really attracted me to the brand in the first place. So learning more and more about this, like, it just makes me love this brand so much, like what they're actually doing. We always say we just use whiskey to be a force for good in the world. But yeah, it's crazy. Like all of my produce I buy now is regenerative certified. Like I really went for it.
Yeah.
But it's even better for you. Like what I was saying before about the nutrients, and the same thing even with like any meat or seafood that you're buying, same deal. So yeah, completely changed my life, but just opened my eyes up and really made me like, I was 100% behind Maker's Mark before, and now I'm like 148% behind Maker's Mark. Like, it's real good.
And I love Maker's Mark as a brand because, like, we did whiskey, it smashed it out of the park. Like, you know, for them to go hard on a single niche and just, like, make it incredible, like, it doesn't get any better than that. I got so many questions. Okay. I'll kind of stick with the same kind of grain we're working for. Have you heard of Morgan Spurlock? Give me a weird face. Supersize Me.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah. So do you think there's an issue with how they're marketing, I'd say, organic? Because as you kind of land on the regenerative certified, and then they're like, all right, well, you also have organic. And in his second documentary, he goes, for you to be certified organic, your chickens need to be outside in like a square meter of sun.
Yeah.
And it's like they can be majority inside, but as long as they have access to the sunlight, they're like organic. Is that not causing a bigger issue? So we need to change like the, I'd say, certification process?
Yeah, I think organic is a funny one, like, which is why, you know, we stay well clear from that, because it kind of just doesn't mean anything.
No,
if you really get down to it, it doesn't mean a lot.
It just means our chicken costs $14 a kilo rather than $9. What do we...
Yeah, I think the certification is, particularly for Regenify, which is why we've aligned so heavily with that particular certification, because that is like, when you talk in depth, it is in depth. Like they come out, they assess your soil, they take samples of your water, they check your water beds. Like the whole thing is so scientific, and you have to be getting actual number reads from however it is they test soil.
Yeah, I don't know, beyond me.
Yeah, I'm not quite there yet.
Close.
But
2 more documentaries away from being like soil certified nerd. I love it.
Oh my God. So I think that this particular certification is quite important, but it's also fairly new. So a question I get asked a lot about this particular bottle of Star Hill Farm is the grain in this certified Regenify? This year it's not. But when we laid down these barrels, certification didn't exist. So we've been working, this set us on our journey, and we've been working towards it. Then the certification came out and we went, great, we'll work towards that. So now, yeah, all whiskey since November 2023, all the wheat, all the corn, certified, Regenerative. But yeah, it's interesting because it is quite new. It's not really, it doesn't have a marketing campaign yet.
No, of course not.
You know, like people aren't really talking about it. You know, most people, when I stand up and start talking about regenerative agriculture, like I've never heard about this before. And because it is new, but in practice, there are farms all around Australia that have adopted these processes. And I was even at one recently and took some bartenders to this particular regenerative farm. And their tour guide was like, look, there is no certification for this. This is just like the way that you look after the land. And I was like, there is now.
Yeah. So exciting.
But so even farms are like unaware, which is why that Regenerative Alliance is so important, working with Gabe to try and get in front of as many people that work in the agricultural industry as possible. But not just the farmers, you know, brands like Maker's Mark that are pushing for this kind of stuff is so important because there has to be the demand. Like we actually cut down, we used to source from about, I think 22 farms within that 60-mile radius in Kentucky, and we cut it to 10 because only 10 were willing to come on the regenerative journey with us. And so we were like, well, we're not buying from anyone that will not look after their land properly. So that pressure from the brands that are utilizing agricultural products is super important as well to really kind of drive that change.
Did you find an issue with the production then? Because obviously, like halving the amount of farms you'd source from.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if our production team at the distillery are like going to call me up and be like, wow, we're struggling to get grain re in Australia. So probably not information I'm across. But look, I mean, we haven't slowed down production. We're at like max capacity right now.
Which is
so
great.
Yeah.
It's a terrible problem to have, I
Yeah.
guess. It's just like find more land to build more stills, essentially.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Makers is, you know, because we're so deeply attached to our original taste vision, when we expand the distillery, we don't just make things bigger, we just make more of it.
Yeah.
So that's why when you go there's 3 exact still setups, because we started with 1. We're like, oh wow, we need to expand production. The cheapest, most efficient way to do that was to get a bigger still. But we were like, nah, that'll change the flavour of the whiskey. So we just did a full replication. And now there's 3. So you keep replicating. So we're like, nah, if we change anything in our production process, the flavour will change. So we're pretty staunch on that.
Which is great because, you know, take us through the most inefficient, efficient distillery we've seen with the hand bottling, the hand dipping of the wax.
Hand cut labels.
Yeah, and like watching those girls work, I was like, yeah, there's no way you'll catch me doing manual labour.
They dip 22 to 27 bottles of Maker's Mark each a minute.
Yeah.
That's crazy speed.
And that's not including the slam dunks.
I know.
And just watching those happen, you're like, oh, okay.
I love it when you can heckle them into doing one. It's the best.
I was like, my favourite photo from my recent Kentucky trip was like photographing them as they're slam dunking it.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's gorgeous.
And I just know they get so much satisfaction out of getting to do the slam dunks. I just know it. They're the hardest working team, honestly. You know, they only do half-hour shifts. They do half-hour on, half-hour off because it's such repetitive motion. And Makers is very big on looking after their staff properly. So, yeah, they rotate every 30 minutes.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, take us through what like day or a couple of days of like just coming on board for Maker's Mark. For you at least, like, because, you know, there's a lot of people that have never been to the distillery or never will go, which is mind-blowing because it's such a beautiful site, especially with this new restaurant opening very soon.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It was open in the past, starting with Provision, so I have eaten there before, and because we source everything for the restaurant from site, it was like
certified Regenerative.
Next level meal. Like, oh my God. Oh, although it is kind of sad though. So this is kind of jumping the gun. I will go back to like what this whole experience was like. But the first tour that I ever hosted at Maker's Mark, because I don't get to bring like heaps of customers over there all the time. We are like a bit far away.
It was like 16,000 Ks.
Yeah, just like stone's throw.
15 minutes on the bus.
Easy.
Like.
So as I did all my training, the very last thing you do as you train to be a diplomat is that you do mock tours under different environments, and you have to take basically markers out with you and do full ground tours, talk, all that jazz. And the first one I actually hosted for a customer, maybe it was just guests. Either way, doesn't matter. Might have been a customer from Texas, and it might have been just a general consumer tour. But with our rotational grazing, as you walk down from home place, which is where you meet, have a drink, and then you walk down to the still house. At the time, we had rotated our sheep and our lambs into the paddock that was right there. And they knew that they were going to have a lunch at the restaurant. And they walked past and were like, oh no, are we eating those lambs for lunch? And I was like, this is a really rough way to start my first ever tour, having to like explain.
Not yet, we're still fattening them up. That's
like, oh, hello kitty cat.
Houdini's just jumping on the table, he's come to say hello.
Yeah, I was like, oh, not those ones. Definitely those ones.
Definitely those ones, just not today.
That's how it all works, rotational grazing, it helps the land, and then eventually, the stock is consumed. But that's okay.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes. At least we've got some transparency over where that meat is coming from. But anyway, such a sidetrack.
But it's great. It's like, it's good to see that they are, I guess, like enforcing that regenerative farming from the jump. And they're like, all right, look, we're going to use these sheep. And like, look, we're going to, get them to feed on the land. And once we fatten them up, we're going to put them in the restaurant. And
we look after our livestock very, very well. We've got a herd of Wagyu beef, actually, cattle on site. And we have someone who's like, their whole job is to just look after the cattle at the distillery, which is amazing. I can confirm that eventually they are really delicious, but they have the best life because they, have all the spent grains. They just have whiskey grain, breakfast, lunch and dinner, just loving life.
I was going to ask you about the whiskey grain too, because we're going to get sidetracked again.
Of course we are.
What do you guys do with all the spent grain?
Yeah, it goes to the farmers.
Yeah, awesome. So it just kicks it back to those 10 farmers that are really on board with the program, and I guess...
Yeah, not those ones, because some of them have livestock now, but
well, they'd have to, because
of the rotational
they're
grazing,
doing that.
100%.
See, there we
go.
But
there's not often a lot. We have way more spent grain than
have cattle.
Correct.
Yeah,
because we've got I couldn't even tell you how many we have, but it's a small little herd.
Yeah.
So we've got to send it elsewhere. But yeah, it all goes to local farmers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is great. But yeah, no, the experience over there is amazing. So I've been to the distillery now 3 times, but yeah, the first time I went on day 2 of the job, I spent a full 2 weeks at the distillery, which is like a long time. So I learned a lot. But I was able to do everything I spent time with every team at the distillery. So I spent time with the tour guides, the still team. I spent time with the innovation lab, the warehouse team. Even the guys in cistern that are just taking bungs out of kegs. Like, we spent time with every single team that we have there to get a full understanding and picture of the distillery. But my favourite thing about it, and I actually had someone tell this to me, is because I skip through the distillery because it's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory as far as I'm concerned. So I'm always like the happiest person you've ever seen when I'm there. So I literally skip around and they're like, oh, there's this like Aussie chick just skipping in the distillery saying how you going to everyone. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. But it's a beautiful campus. So Margie Samuel is one of our founders. She's actually credited with starting bourbon tourism because she designed the Maker's Mark distillery in order to host guests. So as you move through campus, which is very green and lush and stunning, you can actually walk through the entire production facility, which is kind of crazy because like you walk through the still house, you see all the fermenters, you see those 3 stills I was talking about. You then walk through into our little labeling house where we just have 2 people and 2 like old school iron like printing presses from the 1930s. Hand ripping every label that goes onto Maker's Mark. And how are there only 2 people doing this for every bottle of Maker's Mark that goes out into the world? So That's very cool. And then, you can walk through the bottling line. You can walk through Warehouse A, which is our original warehouse on site. Best smelling thing I've ever experienced in my life.
If you can make that into actually, I think I might have a candle somewhere where it just smells like...
I've always wanted to do that.
Actually,
I want to send a perfumer over, get them to spend time in Warehouse A.
Yeah.
Because it's like bourbon combined with like, the woody...
Sorry, he's an absolute pain in the ass. He's got an obsession with plastic and he just likes to lick it. I don't understand what it is, but he's just
To be clear, we're speaking about the cat.
Yeah, we're speaking about the cat, sorry. He's just parked himself in front of Rhi.
I love it. He knows that I love cats. I'm quite okay with this.
Yeah, he's very chill. Very chill.
It.
But yeah, if you can, because this is how I explained like bourbon to people, and it's like we need that scent.
100%, yeah.
Like you walk through a distillery in, say, spring, and like it's reached, poor little guy, and it's like, the sun is hitting this rickhouse warehouse, and it's like just taking that note, and like everyone that's listening that has been there, it'll just take them straight there. That scent, and it's like, how can we bottle this?
I know. I did a bit of research into it and was...
Of course you did.
Yeah, of course I did.
It'd be crazy if you didn't.
Wow, she nerded out about something else? Shocking. I did a bit of research into it. I actually found a perfumer from Hunter Candles that I wanted to send over there, and I'm like, I think I might get knocked back on like this multi-$1,000 trip to send someone over because I personally want to like bottle this scent into a candle. But yeah, I think it would be absolutely amazing because that experience of like walking into the warehouse is just like indescribable, honestly. So
it should be on everyone's to do before you die. Like
totally.
I've never been to like, I don't know, a warehouse in Scotland or anything because I can't imagine it'd hit the same heat level.
Well, yeah.
To get those vapors out of the barrel.
Well, that's the thing. Scotland's average temperature is about 8 to 9 degrees Celsius all year round, whereas obviously Kentucky is hitting way high temperatures.
Yeah, of course.
So, I think it would be quite different. I have also not spent as much time in Scottish warehouses that I have in American ones, but no, it's just amazing. That whole experience at the distillery is just truly indescribable. And we have so much on site now supporting our, sustainability initiatives that, we've got hundreds of bee boxes, apiaries, so you can go out and see the bees. We've got a mushroom quarry where we grow our own mushrooms. We've got the world's largest American white oak research forest. So we've planted tens of thousands of American white oak in order to study them, understand the genome sequencing behind their DNA, and then help to preserve the species.
Will you start harvesting your own? Because I know you work with ISC.
We do,
but
yeah.
I don't, will that ever be a thing where you do, say, a limited release of Star Hill, but you've done it from your own trees?
Look, never say never.
It has the potential, right?
It does, but it's just not the point of why we've planted them.
Yeah.
So, and also it's going to be 80 to 100 years from now until you'd be able to actually utilise that whiskey, but potentially,
Yeah.
someone could be drinking whiskey that was made barrels of American white oak grown on site, potentially. But yeah, the point is more understanding. So we've got an American white oak tree on site, which we call our mother tree. And despite the fact that most American white oak will start to rot and die off after 130 years, this guy is well over 400. And
mind-blowing.
We needed to understand why. So we did the world's ever first genome mapping program to map the DNA sequence of this particular tree to try and understand what about its DNA has kept it alive for so long. So now we've planted out all those trees on site so that we can study them and learn. Because, if American white oak is ever susceptible to disease and we lose it, then we are losing all of our whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
So it's pretty massively important. It's also the agricultural input that takes the longest to regenerate. I can have a new crop of corn in 90 days. The water is coming from our spring-fed lake on site. I've got to wait 80 to 100 years before I've got that tree available. So the sustainability behind white oak is super important to us. And we do quite a few things to, I guess, work in the direction of maintaining that oak, as does Independent Stave Company, who, like you mentioned, we work with very, very closely. Love those guys. Andrew Weinbrink is just a personal hero who looks after innovation for Independent Stave Company. I actually emailed him this morning.
Subtle flex. I love it.
But
without him, we wouldn't have these like amazing barrels that we're able to enjoy our whiskey out of.
Oh, totally. He's the guy that's doing all of the research into toast profiles, and they send out test lots of barrels to distilleries all over Kentucky and the world, and ask basically for warehouse space so that they can run experiments. In fact, I read 2 results of 2 experiments that they ran this morning, because that's who I am as a person. But it's super interesting. So those guys are the ones that developed the Maker's 46 stave, and then work with us on all the stave production for private select and wood finishing series and anything cool we're doing. Basically, they've got a hand in. But they are also, acutely aware of how important managing American white oak is. So they have actually their own certification type thing that they work with farmers of American white oak or foresters in the States. Most of farmland in America is privately owned. So all of the wood coming through the mill into the cooperages is coming from these farmers who drop them off to the mills. They get inspected. If they're not up to Independent Stave Company's code, they will send them back.
Much like you guys do with your grains.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes. It's all about quality every step of the way here. I've actually been out to one of their mills. I've actually been out to the forest to go out with some of the guys that were cutting down the American white oak, which is a very cool experience, and then was able to go to the mill, have a tour through the mill to see it being cut down to staves, and then have been to all of the cooperages that Independent Stave Company own in Kentucky as well, which is great. They've got one that's quite old school, one that's very, very new with flash technology. You're not allowed to take photos or videos or anything in there except for them firing the barrels. It's all you can do because all of their technology is proprietary. So,
of course, you don't want that to leak and
totally.
Other people to get it. Yeah, I get it.
But they're just geniuses all around. So, they really focus on sustainability of the American white oak. I get asked all the time, surely we're diminishing our supplies. We have actually so much more American white oak in the forest now than we did 40 years ago because of the forestry management plans that they've put in place, which is really cool.
Well, bourbon only consumes
about
I might have this
5% of the American white oak.
Which is people think you talk about bourbon and New Chart American oak, and they're like, oh, well, bourbon's pretty big and there'd be a lot of white oak getting consumed, but it's not that much.
It's because we're the only people who specifically speak about the type of oak that we're using. Yeah. The building industry isn't building your house being that's American white oak. You know what I mean? They're just building houses. Yeah. So obviously the more noise is coming from the bourbon industry that we use American white oak, so people just assume that we use all of it. But it's 5%. That's so we're not the problem, but we are the solution. So
absolutely,
well,
Maker's Mark is a solution considering they're doing research on the
could be
genome, but to take the time to figure out, it's all right, how do we preserve these trees for longer?
Yeah.
And be it you're able to accelerate growth to make the, I'd say the, grain profile of the tree. I was it feels weird saying grain, but you're not talking about corn. You're talking about trees. And it's make a specific grain profile of that tree to make it adapt better to whiskey is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
We're only a couple of steps away from engineering a tree that is perfect for whiskey. Yeah,
and just understanding which strains are growing best in the environment, how do we protect them from disease and pests and things like that. So it's pretty cool. I love this type of stuff. Wood science is something that really, really interests me. When I was over there once, they offered if I would like to read the genome sequencing that they did, which was an 80-page document of just science. And I'm I might draw a line on how deep I'm going to get into this. It's going to go over my head, let's be real. But But yeah, it's so interesting, and we just have so many smart people that work with us at Maker's Mark or Independent Stave Company that I'm just absolutely in awe of. Whether it's Beth with her controlled chaos of blending different barrels to create Star Hill or cellar aged, or Andrew at ISC like coming up with all these stave profiles for us. Like, these guys are just so smart. So it's really cool to just be around and be able to soak up that knowledge and learn, because that's what I'm all about.
I love it. Okay, we brought up cellar age. So
yes,
obviously that is the hot talk of the town as well. Like, Maker's Mark releasing 2 new products. Well, actually, like, I guess 2 new lines of product into the market, and it's not something we've seen for years. I'm sure you have the actual date on it, when it was like the last time they released a new product.
In Australia, because even car strength has been available off and on for a while. We'd get job lots here or there. It's been in market since like 2013, but not our market, because Australia doesn't always get everything. You can tell I'm not mad about it at all. But
I'll send this to Rob, don't worry.
Car strength only became like permanently available here since I've been in role, so like within the last 2.5 years. So,
which is mind-blowing, the fact that it's sitting on shelves, and the US has had 46 car strength.
I know, it's so good.
Have
you got some?
I got 3 bottles. We can.
Amazing.
We know some. It's fine.
Good to know.
I have the supply covered. That is.
Yeah. I like it here.
It's great. But the fact that we've only just started seeing car strength.
Yeah, consistently. It's
a big
crazy.
Problem. The fact that we don't have 90 proof Maker's Mark. The fact we don't have 90 proof Maker's Mark is a big problem.
Yeah,
like, I understand tax laws. Don't get me started on tax pricing, but we have this special blend for Australia that comes in at 80 proof, and you're really diminishing this quality product by releasing it at 80 proof. Yeah,
it's a shame. And it's an interesting one, because I think your regular consumer can't tell that difference. But if you were to taste 40 and 45% side by side, like, it's massive.
Yeah,
there's a clear difference there. But yes, unfortunately, tax is unkind to us in Australia. But yeah, like you're right. We've really barely released permanently to market anything new since like car strength and 46. So super exciting to have 2 new lines coming this year, and very close to each other. Like, Star Hill is basically launching in market right now, and Cellar Age 2025 is launching in a few weeks. So it's really great for me. I have so much more to talk about. So much more good whiskey to drink.
Oh, terrible problem.
No. Oh, no.
Oh, no. What am I going to do? You're going to have cases of Cellar Age sitting at your place, and you're
Damn
like,
it.
oh, well.
Damn.
Oh, guess what I'm going to take to a tasting?
But no, I'm very, very excited. So, I got a bottle sent over to me from the distillery recently. It only took me like 48 emails with customs to get it through. But we got there. And I've got the last like 50 mils for us here today. So we'll give that a try when you've got an empty glass.
I do have an empty glass.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, this is one you prepared earlier.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to kill that beautiful Star Hill. But thank you very much. Okay. So take us through, what does this year's release look like? This year is in like end of 2025.
Yeah. We'll always be a little bit behind on the release years in Australia, but that's okay. It's kind of like wine vintages.
No, I get it. I'm all about it. Like, unfortunately, we can't. Actually, it was weird. Like, between Star Hill and like the Wild Turkey Masters Keep Drop released about the same time.
Yeah.
Like, we got the Wild Turkey release before the US. This was around the same time.
Yeah.
The Star Hill dropped around the same time as the US. So we're very close.
It's the first time ever in Maker's Mark history that Australia has launched a new product at the same time as the US.
Yeah.
And granted, we were obviously like 2 months behind because it had to get on the water and make its way over here. But realistically the same time, which is super exciting. It also shows that there's a lot of confidence in Australia for the Maker's Mark market, which I'm loving.
Well, I was going to say that'll trickle down to the rest of the products, you'd think.
Yeah.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world. But yes, super exciting. It's happening for Cellar Aged. Cellar Aged was first released in 2023. And yeah, very similar to Star Hill, this is a blend that will change every single year, just depending on what is tasting good, what barrels we've got in the warehouse. Again, we've got so many barrels in the cellar that we then try to put together these blends and come up with the best product that year. So released in 2023, and this was something that we did release because we have always been asked for older whiskey.
I remember like I guess a personal story here with like Maker's Mark and over oak. So if you go to the distillery, you do a tasting, you sit in this giant tasting room and they take you through all the whiskeys. And then I'd say 2018 is when I first did it.
Yeah.
And, they take you through it and you land on this glass and they go, it's over oaked.
Yeah.
Over aged, I believe it was called. I tried it and I was like, this is amazing. Bottle it.
Yeah.
Like, you have it. It's literally in my glass. Bottle it. I will take a case.
It's actually so funny. So we do have, for everything that we move into the cellar, we always then keep control barrels in the warehouse to see how they're aging differently in those different aging environments. And so for those following along at home, not familiar with our cellar, so we created our limestone cellar at the distillery by putting some dynamite in a hill. I found the video yesterday. I've been looking for it for years.
Stop it.
I finally found it again by trolling the OneDrives. But
okay.
I'll show you later.
Yeah, amazing.
But yeah, we blew up a hill. Obviously, underneath Kentucky is limestone shelving, which is why 95% of bourbon production happens in Kentucky because of the water source. Limestone filters that anything harsh, ions out of the water, which is great for distilling. But limestone also keeps things very naturally cool. So we created a cave basically on site at the distillery, and the walls of that cave are limestone. So it actually keeps the temperature in there down at like 50 degrees Fahrenheit all year round, which I believe is like 8-9 degrees Celsius. So very similar to Scottish, very similar to Scottish average temperature, which really helps because we were finding that after about 8 years of aging Maker's Mark in our traditional rick houses, it became over-oaked. Not that it was bad whiskey by any stretch of the imagination. It just wasn't aligned to our founders' original taste vision, where they wanted this smoother, sweeter, quite inviting bourbon, which is why we don't use rye. It's why we use the wheat. And so as you're over-aging this wood, the whiskey, it becomes over-extracted. The wood is adding in way too much tannin for it to remain a whiskey without bitterness. So it wasn't something that we ever wanted to release because it was so dissimilar to the original taste vision. And then, people really wanted this older whiskey. And we were like, okay, well, how do we create an older whiskey whilst remaining true to that original guiding light? And it wasn't until we created the cellar where kind of time slows down a little bit in terms of maturation. We went, maybe we can make an older whiskey here. So we, it's Maker's Mark, cask strength, the same way that every other bottle of Maker's Mark is ever made or barrel is ever made. But once that barrel has hit full cask strength maturity, instead of being bottled, it goes into the cellar. Once it's in there, we leave it and are continuously tasting as it continues to age. So 2023 was the first time we put one of these whiskies out, which was a blend of 11 and 12-year-old whiskey. This one is the oldest we've ever released. So it's a blend of 11, 13, and 14-year-old whiskey.
Amazing.
Which is really, really fun for us.
Which means there's older stock sitting there for you guys to do this again next year. Potentially. That's purely
yes.
mathematically.
You're like, the math on this, there is. There
checks
is.
out. Yeah.
I think I'm meant to say that whatever's in the current blend is the oldest whiskey stock we have on hand.
Which makes sense because that's
yeah.
what's been released and that's what you can talk about.
Correct.
Yeah.
But of course, not every barrel that we aged in the cellar made it into the final blend because we find, and this is really interesting because aging whiskey in a cool environment that has no fluctuation is quite new.
Yeah.
So even though, you know, Scottish whiskey is sitting at that same temperature, there's still fluctuation throughout the year, whereas this is pretty much the same. It's like naturally temperature controlled, doesn't really fluctuate more than about a degree all year. So that is a really different aging environment to understand and study, and there's a lot of stuff going on in there that we actually just don't get yet. Like, we don't know why.
No.
So,
well, the same way Buffalo Trace ages whiskey in a fridge. Like, it's purely so you can hold those barrels for longer.
Yeah.
So you don't over oak them, and it doesn't create this very harsh profile that you have to blend back with younger stuff.
Correct.
Therefore, defeating the age statement of the product.
Yes.
There's no point in going through all that time and effort.
And
to
money.
Just cut it. And money just to go, we'll
just blend it back.
Yeah.
Totally. Cellar age very much is playing off that, right? Like we're aging it in, essentially a really large fridge.
Yeah.
Which is going to slow down the rate that the whiskey is penetrating through the wood. And tannin is a compound that sits at the back of the stave. So if you're not forcing the whiskey in and out of the wood, you won't pick up tannin. It's not going further enough in.
Yep.
But what we're looking for is the oxidative effects, because obviously we have additive, reductive, and oxidative maturation flavor compounds being developed. And so we were never able to really get any of the oxidative in the past because we couldn't leave our barrels in a warehouse for longer than 8 years. There was never enough time or headspace to allow those reactions to happen. But now that we can have this cellar aging environment, we can keep the whiskey in there. The oxidative reactions have the time to occur. And so we're thinking about, ethanol interacting with oxygen, creating esters, or acetaldehyde interacting with oxygen and creating different types of acids or aldehydes. So that's where you start to get your fruity characteristics come through in the whiskey. Dark skin fruits, prunes, plums, nuttiness, a bit more spice. Like, you're getting Maillard reactions as well. So you're getting this caramelization come through. And so you get this deep complexity in the whiskey without adding any of the harshness, the bitterness, or the tannic content.
This one's all vanilla ice cream to
me.
Like, this is classic me when I was a kid, just getting a spoon into that Paul's vanilla ice cream.
I'm thinking like vanilla ice cream, but that's got a bit of a marble of salted caramel through it.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I see where that line of thinking is going. It's like nostalgia in a glass, and that's why I'm just drawn towards these, I'd say, weeded profiles, right? Because it's just so sweet, and it's just nailing that sweetness. It's so soft. It's like you're able to get those beautiful vanillas, those caramels, but you don't have that harsh, spicy rye comes in over the top, and it's like, okay, I get it.
We get it.
I get it.
No, totally. I really love this expression, and it's changed quite significantly between 23, 24, and the 25 release. And I mean, like I mentioned, we don't 100% understand what's going on with this maturation. So 2024 ended up being 119 point something proof. This is 112. We enter the barrel at 110. And I think the 2023 was it was much higher than this as well. And asked why, and they're like, we have no idea. No, there's no reason that last year's barrels should have spiked, and it went against everything that we know about maturation, because the control barrels that they kept in the warehouse for the same amount of time from the same lot only upped in proof by 1 to 2, and everything that went into the cellar up by 5 to 6. That makes no sense.
Yeah, that's right.
So now we're like, we need to ask way more questions and figure out some more info, because that defies everything we know about whiskey maturation. Particularly, and again, this is one of the studies I was reading from Independence Dave Company this morning is that, like, yes, we all kind of understand that as you get hotter and less humid, we're going to age our whiskey faster, but it's actually more about the difference in the top and bottom temperature that the floor will experience. So it's about the fluctuation, how quickly it fluctuates and how much.
Which is why you guys rotate your barrels.
Correct. It's why we rotate our barrels, so that we get very consistent.
Whole nother episode we can talk about.
Oh man, we have
barrel
so much to talk about.
There's more cats, there's more whiskey, it's fine. Come back for round 2, it's all good.
We can do it at my house where I have just as much whiskey and another cat.
I love it. I'm all about it.
Right. But yeah, it's the fluctuation that actually really influences the whiskey. There's no fluctuation in the cellar.
No.
What's going on? It's cold and it doesn't change. So why have we been able to like peak at this high proof, but then also never again? And we asked so many questions. We're like, well, do you know what warehouses they came from? Were they smaller warehouses? Were the lots at the side of the warehouse? Or like, how did that work? And they were like, yeah, no, we checked all of it. Like, we have no idea. So that's kind of
were just like,
fun and exciting that we kind of don't really know everything that's going on. But that's the thing. Whiskey making, like, you can study it as much as possible using all the scientific ways of, you know,
like
actually measuring and understanding. But at the end of the day, like, all of it is kind of subject to nature and craftsmanship and whatever. Like, you just don't have as much control as you would ever like. And that is, I think, the beauty of this whiskey.
Yeah, no, it's the beauty of whiskey, right? It's like, as much as you want to put it in fridges and go, do you know what, we'll keep it at this to keep it for longer. But the fact you're going to have a massive proof spike and release still a quality product that isn't over oaked and people are like, oh, this is way too harsh. Once again, you don't need to blend it back with this younger stuff. Release it as a quality product, and people are like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
How do we
It's
not
crazy.
have this all the time?
I think the sweet spot for cellar age is probably like 11 and 12 year, but that older stuff massively helps in the blend.
Of
so
course.
I think the 2025 is like 75% 11-year-old, but by putting back in those 13 and 14-year-old barrels, adds so much complexity. The finish on this is great, but it's so interesting. And yeah, the way that the team actually do this, because again, I said they've got like hundreds of barrels of different types and times and all the stuff going on. And they just start somewhere. There's like 3 people that'll put together a initial blend. They put them together, they taste them, then they work it back a little bit. And then once they've got their top 2 to 3, they marry them and vat them. So we vat cellar age for a month before it goes into bottle, which helps massively. Like day 1, it's good. Day 2, it's better. Day 30,
when they're
sick.
So stainless steel vat.
Yes.
And what, we're just leaving it like open top?
I think it's,
like,
I'm pretty sure it's closed.
Closed? Okay.
Yeah.
So just leave it closed.
Yeah.
See what it does?
It's just marrying together. Those flavors are just mingling, mellowing, settling.
Let it do its thing.
Yeah. And then when they do the experimentation, they do 200 mils vatted in a 375 ml bottle for like 8 days.
Okay.
And just see how it happens. And that's what they say to us. They're like, yeah, we can do these experiments, but until it's actually done at full scale, we still don't know what that's going to taste like, because things change.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think about, because like, as you were saying that, and like as I was thinking about it, you would have a whiskey that is bottled in the US and someone would open it that day, so day 1. By the time it lands in Australia, say day 30, it would be a different profile.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah. And I think some things change more than others. Even as I was doing some like liquid education with Beth, who looks after our innovation program.
Liquid education is the best name.
Yeah.
It just means you girls were sitting there and it was like early whiskeys in the morning.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had to catch up. It was going to be like 4 a.m. for me. And I'm like, I'm going to be in a very different place than you guys are if I'm on this at 4 a.m. drinking whiskeys. But, you know, you catch up after, or often I catch up and then might call Beth if I have questions. But, you know, we're going through these whiskeys and she goes, oh, by the way, does anyone have warehouse sample, which is, the control? that you opened but haven't finished because they sent it out when we did the first 2023. And I'm there like, I certainly do.
Yeah.
And a few people are like, yeah, we do as well. And the reason that we were sent it in the first place is so we could do a comparison of what the actual cellar is influencing over that maturation profile. And she goes, so turns out that if you have a bit of headspace in that bottle and it's sat there for 2 years, it's really mellowed out, it's going to taste really lovely. So potentially don't bring that as a comparison now to why we're doing like, the cellar aging, because she's like, it's mellowed so much sitting in bottle with a bit of headspace that you will not get like the comparison that you're looking for. Like they're gonna taste very similar. I was like, very interesting. I'm sitting looking at my cabinet. I'm like, I've got half a bottle up there.
Yeah.
Well, we should just drink it.
Yeah,
It'll be right.
It'll be fine.
But that's the funny thing about the older whiskey, and I think like this is a whole nother conversation in itself around like older, is it better, is it rarer, expensive, whatever. But when I did share that warehouse sample with some people in Melbourne, I did 2 events, so maybe 80 people were able to sample that, and so many of the guys in the room are like, that's sick, like why aren't you bottling that just like you did?
Yep.
But when you taste it, you're like, oh, but you're just used to drinking old, age-stated, over-oaked bourbon.
Of course,
it's not better. It's objectively not better.
Well, that's why, like, I will say that anything bourbon-wise that's bottled at, say, 110 proof is much better than anything that's bottled at 80 proof.
Yeah.
And it's like 40% against 55%. Like, it's purely profile-driven.
Totally.
So,
it completely changes the
Of
way
course
that
it
that
does.
whiskey drinks.
Of course.
Completely.
But it's purely profile driven, and it's like all you drink is all bourbon. And I'm sure I know the people that were involved in this tasting in Melbourne. I could probably drop all their names. But of course they do, because I know what they have on their back bar.
Exactly. I was like, I'm sorry, it's not better whiskey. I understand that you like it, but it's just you're used to drinking it.
But
it's
also,
like an acquired taste, like bitter coffee or whatever.
Oh, bitter coffee's pretty good.
I also only drink black coffee. Yeah.
I get a latte with an extra shot because I just like the taste of coffee. It doesn't do anything, but I enjoy it. It's
purely drink black coffee.
Yeah.
Black coffee, I'm real bit nerdy about that as well.
Oh, okay.
No way.
No, that's
but
fine.
Also, I really...
We need another episode for coffee talk.
We have so many things to talk about.
I was like, we're getting close to your hard out time, but do you want to answer a couple of questions for me so people can get an idea of what you really like? You haven't been prepped on these questions and you give me a really shocked face.
God. Sure.
I love it. I do this with everyone, so if you want to bail out of a question, just give me a look and I will press on. All right. First one from the top. Where is the weirdest place you've tried whiskey?
The weirdest?
The weirdest place you've tried whiskey.
Like weirdest place I've drank a whiskey?
Yeah, weirdest place you've drank a whiskey.
Oh my God, I don't know. I drink whiskey like at all times.
Yeah.
So where's the weirdest place I've ever been in my life? There's probably whiskey there.
Yeah, that's pretty standard, actually.
Oh my God, I don't know.
Because like you are, I guess, a lady that is well travelled. You have been across to the opposite side of the world and you've tried whiskey pretty much everywhere. Is there a place? Okay, we'll go the most memorable place you've tried whiskey. Because I know I like me being able to share a whiskey with you and Rob is up there with the most memorable, and like Bill Samuels as well. Like me drinking whiskey with Bill, I'm like,
I think the most memorable is when I was invited to Bill Jr.'s house to have a whiskey with him. That's pretty special.
And the fact he has it on ice and he didn't ask, that kind of gives me an illness. I'm like, let me control my own journey here. I get it.
Look, if you're drinking with Bill Jr., you drink however he wants you to. Okay?
Absolutely. I agree. I did. He cracked it for me. I drank it. I enjoyed it. I was like...
46 on ice. You don't get anything else.
Ours was a private select.
Oh, okay.
Orcs.
So awkward.
So I guess you were on the basic stuff. And
wow.
Somehow we were on the good stuff.
He did offer if I wanted to like hold for a photo the first ever bottle of Maker's Mark that came off the line. I was like, absolutely not.
I would have loved that. What
if you're the guy that goes to Bill Jr.'s house and you hold the very first bottle of Maker's Mark ever produced and you drop it? You want to be that guy?
I would love to be that guy. The fact that I would be roped into whiskey law, the fact that like we walk around Kentucky, you and I, and we run into the fucking legends and we're like nerding out. And then you're having a conversation with me, the guy that dropped the first bottle of 46, you would be frothing. What are you talking about? You would love that.
Not the first bottle of 46, first bottle of classic ever.
Yeah, ever.
The first bottle of Maker's Mark.
The first bottle of Maker's Mark, whatever. You would love that. I would love that.
Okay, I see what's going on here.
It's not an ego thing, but I'm like, I would rope myself into whiskey law and I would be... Because that's what we love, right? That's why I have 550 bottles of bourbon on my shelf.
Yeah.
So
You would love that.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
I would die so much inside. I would never recover.
I would be the same, though. I would hate every single moment of that, but to be roped in, I'm like,
Nah. I'm shuddering as I think about it. It's absolutely not.
Okay. Yeah, I was tied up on the 46, but... All right, do you have a perfect proof?
Oh, I'm thinking like as long as it's over sort of 108, I'm starting to feel like pretty good about life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you enjoy over 108? What am I? I'm trying to do the numbers on this. What is it? 43 and a half is 107. So
we're pretty close.
Yeah, it's like 44. I don't know. 54? That's the one.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like at that point you start to get like the proper viscosity and finish that you're looking for in a whiskey. It can stand up. I clearly like to drink my whiskey neat. I feel like that's sort of the point where I'm going to enjoy sipping on that whiskey when it's neat. Simple as that.
Yeah, that tracks for me. Okay, whiskey apocalypse. All the bottles disappear in the world except one. And this is what you get to enjoy for the rest of your life. What bottle is it? Doesn't have to be on brand.
Rude.
I know.
Look, everything's going to be on brand. Not because I am a corporate gal, but because I just love Maker's Mark.
Which is perfect.
Like I said at the very start, I didn't start working for Maker's Mark for a job. I started working for Maker's Mark because I love Maker's Mark.
Absolutely.
I think not that this is anywhere near objectively like the best bottle of Maker's Mark I've ever had, but I think I have such a personal affinity for 46 that would be where I'm at. It's also a whiskey I go back to quite a lot because it's,
I send everyone there though. Like I know exactly what you're saying, and like the fact that you can introduce so many people to 46 and like be it from like new to bourbon, coming from Scotch to bourbon. Yeah. It's like such a comfortable place. It is. Arguably the best price bottle on the market. Uncle Dan's like $69 on members offer.
It's amazing.
The fact that it's sat at $60, $65 for ages, 47%.
Yeah.
Oh, stop it.
It's great. It's got a little bit of a higher proof than the classic. It's got those lovely spice notes to it. The finish is a little bit longer, a little bit velvety. But yeah, that's often the whiskey that I come back to. Like if I'm just having a quick whiskey at home or something, it's like, I'll grab the 46.
Yeah, I love it.
Can't beat it.
Classic. There's a reason why people go for it. Okay. The most undervalued whiskey on the market that you highly rate. Do you have one? Or it's going to be 46. That's right.
I feel like we just answered that question.
I feel like we're there. Answered. I'm like, anything from like your personal selection, or is it purely just like 46?
Look, I live in a world where most things I think could maybe come down in price, not increase.
No, I agree. I am purely advocating for that. Like, if I need someone from the government on this podcast just to talk smack and abuse them.
Seriously. Every time I go through the airport and Lefroy PX cask is just like another $30 more per bottle, like every time. I'm like, could we not be doing this? Because I'd like to drink a lot of you, and you're making it hard.
The problem is you're buying Lefroy. Like, that is the total opposite of what, like, Maker's Mark is, and I love that. I can't...
Big Lefroy fan.
Okay.
Massive.
yeah, we need another day. That is. I need to break that concept down.
Yeah, break that down.
'Cause-
I think the very simple way to put it is like I'm a fan of bold flavors.
Okay. No,
so
all right.
Lafroig really fits that bill for me.
Like, smoky. Like you say Lafroig and people can't say Lafroig. It's I don't know what they'd say because that's how I heard it say to me, and I'm like, I'll go with that. But it's just so smoky.
So smoky.
I guess like
great.
the variation of cask. Oh, it's all on brand. It's
So many amazing casks, so many things.
It's fine. People,
Yeah.
they'll be
To be
happy.
fair, I've been drinking Maker's Mark and Lafroig well before I joined. Also, I started my whiskey drinking career at an age that I should not announce, but
with
on
you.
Canadian Club.
With-
So, like, I didn't mean for this to happen, but then I, like, started at Suntory. I was like, wow, my whole life is here.
It's fine. It's fine. Just stumble into it. We might have had the same dad because I remember drinking from a very young age. And it's like, don't tell your mother. And go, thanks, Dad. That's
Hey, it's worked out for us now, I feel.
yeah. I've got more of a buying problem than a drinking problem, but I reckon we can work that out. Okay, the last question for you, and then I'll put you out of your misery.
Okay.
You're gonna hate this so much.
Oh, God. If
If you could share a dram with any historical figure, who would it be and why? I love the eyebrow raise.
any historical figure.
Anyone, so like it could be anyone from like a point in time.
You know what? I actually already know.
Oh, okay.
And we're keeping it on brand once again.
love
But
it.
I would love to sit down with Margie Samuels. Like, that woman was a trailblazer.
Yeah.
You know, she is absolutely incredible. Like, everything you see on the Maker's Mark bottle was her. Even the little notch in the neck was Margie Samuels because she wanted every single time you poured a whiskey to have that same glugging sound that is what's simple to her. I've opened a new bottle of whiskey. But once you get down past the neck and you don't have the air bubble anymore, you don't get that sound. So she put a notch in so you always get the sound. She was on another
Crazy.
level. Like, another level.
Is there any reason why Star Hill doesn't have it?
Yes, because this is not a bourbon. So we wanted to make very clear
Interesting.
that all of the red wax dipped, all of the bottles that look like this, everything that is Maker's Mark stayed with Maker's Mark. And then this being a wheat whiskey, not a bourbon, a new brand, a new mash bill, we wanted to be quite clear that it's different. So no
very
notch,
clear it's different.
different bottle, no wax. This is meant to symbolize like the limestone cellar in that cork.
It's so bougie. I love it.
Yeah. So
Price tag is very bougie, but
working on it.
yeah, $100 US, $100. I'll just keep telling everyone $100 US, and we'll see what happens.
Hey, I would like people to buy it here. That would really help me out.
Yeah, okay, but I don't know if anyone has the money to buy it here.
It's not my fault.
That is also not my fault. I'm $100 US, and
I
you guys do
know.
the math. But interesting. I was just looking at the new bottles actually, and they do have this. Like, it looks like they've gone through with a bit of fishing line, and like with the older bottles, like it kind of like, I guess you got the neck, and then it goes like to this really rounded kind of thing. But as you kind of square it off with these new bottles, it looks like they've got this piece of fishing wire, and they've really tightened it.
Right at the base of the neck,
to create this
sound.
That's okay. You're making me open more bottles tonight, and I'm like, okay, I guess it's a terrible problem to have, but yeah, okay, I'm all about it.
Yeah, she was just this genius of a person. She had this vision for Maker's Mark. Like, you say that the reason you buy your first bottle of Maker's Mark is because of Margie, because her idea was the wax, the hand cut labels. Even the name Maker's Mark came from her. The logo, the notch in the bottle, everything, the way the distillery is set up. Genius. And then Bill is the reason you buy your second, because it's real bloody tasty. So yeah, that's the reason she was the first woman ever associated with a distillery to be inducted into the Bourbon Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's like Maker's Mark is like, for me, Bourbon Disneyland.
Yeah.
It is like I get people talk about like Buffalo Trace as being Bourbon Disneyland. For me, like Maker's Mark, Bourbon Disneyland, because
There's just so much going on.
So much going on. Like, direct comparison to Buffalo Trace, and it is purely just production.
Yeah.
With I guess, Maker's Mark, you're going from like the regenerative farming aspect, just touched on the start of the episode, and you've got this livestock cruising around, and then purely on our distillery visit, like we went through the mushroom farm, and I'm like, there's fucking mushrooms here. What are we doing?
Yeah. And we've got a truffle hunting dog, Star.
Oh, yes, I did.
Star is the best. He's so cute. But he lives on site because, we've got all these orchards, apples, pears, whatever, and we inoculated them all with truffles because we naturally found truffles on site at Star Hill. And we're like, cool.
This is another thing Star Hill has.
So we inoculated all these trees with truffles, and then we got Star, this amazing dog, and we're training him to point at the truffles when he finds them.
Oh.
It's so good. There's just a lot happening.
So much going on. I can't wait. I can't wait to go back because you guys have some incredible stuff in the works.
Yeah.
But
I'll be back next week, and I'm very excited.
I cannot wait to catch your recap on everything. It sounds like I got to make a trip down to you and bring a bottle of 46 Carl Strength with
Hell
me.
yeah.
Oh, can't wait. All right, Ree, thank you so much for coming on. I know you got to get out of here. You got a long drive home, you poor thing. But long train home.
Long train home. We've been drinking the whiskey.
Yes, we have. Been enjoying the goods. But thank you so much for coming on. Do you want to plug your socials, plug anything you have coming up, tastings?
Oh, love to. Thank you so much for having me. It's so much fun to just hang out and drink some whiskey and get a bit nerdy on a few different things.
I love it.
Guys, I've got a few socials that you can find me on. So Whiskey is where I'm at. I'm Club Suntory _ Maker's Mark is where you like really get the like trade, hospitality focused content. And then also Club Suntory Oceania is where you can find not only what I'm doing on Maker's Mark, but our full Suntory portfolio, which is really exciting. So yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to have to catch up again soon because you're going to have some amazing goss come next week. I love it. Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you took a lot of information out of it because there's a lot of stuff coming at you. Listen to it again and again in the car ride home. Love you guys. Cheers.